Philip Lee is now charged with the attempted murder of Officer Seara Burton. Just the latest in a long list of felonies that have kept Lee behind bars for most of the past 30 years. A 2017 arrest could have sent Lee to prison for a decade, but he got a plea deal instead. Here's what happened. Court documents show Lee was arrested at his girlfriend's house after testing positive for methamphetamine, cocaine, and THC. At the time, court documents say a sheriff's deputy also found a loaded rifle near the living room. 13 Investigates discovered it was actually a Richmond police officer, not a sheriff's deputy, who discovered the shotgun. Lee was charged with possession of narcotics and a syringe, and with possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. That last charge, the most serious one that Lee faced, was dropped, even though Lee had already threatened to shoot a police officer rather than go back to prison. Prosecutor Michael Shipman offered a plea deal. He dismissed the firearm charge against Lee in exchange for a guilty plea to the drug charges. Lee got a 4-year sentence instead of a possible 10. Why did the prosecutor agree to cut a deal? Well, during a sentencing hearing inside this Wayne County courtroom, he told the judge there's no forensic analysis done to confirm that Mr. Lee's fingerprints were on there. Why was there no forensic analysis? This week, the prosecutor explained. He told 13 Investigates the rifle which supported the charge was not collected by police and placed into evidence storage at the Richmond Police Department. It was important to collect the rifle as evidence so that it could be tested for fingerprints, DNA, etc. Since it was not available, no testing could be done to prove who possessed the rifle. And he said the gun might have belonged to Lee's girlfriend. He went on to say, due to this lack of evidence and other factors, I could not prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. I was legally and ethically obligated to dismiss the charge. 13 Investigates has obtained evidence logs in the case. They show the police officer did collect drug evidence at the scene when Lee was arrested, but did not collect the rifle.
I'm confused as to why it was not seized, taken at or even taken another time.
Lawrence Hunter is a retired police captain with 24 years of experience who now reviews police procedure.
When there is a firearm that is connected to a home, particularly where a felon is known to be living at, not just visiting, but living at, generally it is standard operating procedure to take possession of the firearm.
He says in that situation, not seizing a gun for forensic testing, especially when it's not clear who it belongs to, could be considered a mistake.
A very costly one, as we can see the results that have lasted and that have come back to harm law enforcement directly.
The story you just watched aired in early September. It's now late September, and we have more information to share with you. First, sadly, Richmond police officer Seara Burton died from her injuries. She was laid to rest this week with full honors at Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis. Second, 13 Investigates has updated the news report to reflect new information. We discovered a significant mistake in the probable cause affidavit filed against Philip Lee back in 2017. It was actually a Richmond police officer, not a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy, who was at the scene of Lee's arrest and who did not collect the firearm. Court paperwork signed by both the officer and the prosecutor's office incorrectly identified the officer as a sheriff's deputy. The officer confirmed for 13 News that was a mistake because he actually worked for the police department back in 2017. When I asked why he chose not to take the firearm into evidence, he said he would call me back. Richmond's police chief emailed me several hours later to say he's directed his staff not to make any statements. He said the facts of the case are now under review and any further comments will come from him. 13 News is still waiting for those comments and will pass them along when we get them.